I've never cared about spotlights or speeches. My victories were measured in diplomas hanging on my students' walls, not applause from strangers. Years ago, I built a program for kids who had nothing but grit. A small scholarship and mentorship fund, stitched together with donated books, odd jobs, and nights I should have been sleeping. I kept everything in a notebook. Dates, names, testimonials from families who said it changed their lives. One of my brightest students was Damien. Charismatic, ambitious. He told me once, "Mr. Reed, one day I'll change the world." I believed him. Turns out he did, but not the way I imagined. A few years after graduation, I saw him on TV. Damien was on a TED-style stage, lights blazing, crowds cheering. He was describing his revolutionary program for disadvantaged youth. Word for word, it was mine. The structure, the mentorship system, even the tagline I'd scribbled on a coffee-stained page. And the world ate it up. Publishers offered him book deals. Foundations poured money into his nonprofit. Interviewers called him a genius, a visionary. And me? I sat in my small classroom watching my handwriting come out of someone else's mouth. I could have screamed. I could have tried to sue. But I knew how the world works. Charisma beats quiet truth in the short run. So I stayed quiet. And I kept working. Every year, I documented my students' outcomes. College letters, job placements, even voice recordings where parents thanked me. I asked them to sign testimonies. I notarized what I could. My sister Lena teased me, said I was building a paper fortress. She wasn't wrong. 10 years later, my fortress was ready. Maya, one of my scholarship kids who became a lawyer, helped me file copyrights, trademarks, and a case proving original authorship. She told me, "We don't need to humiliate Damien. We just need to reclaim what's ours." So we launched quietly. A grassroots scholarship fund, fully transparent. Every award filmed, every document public. We didn't talk about Damien. We talked about Rosa, who was about to drop out until the fund paid her tuition. We talked about Jamal, who got into medical school. Real stories, undeniable proof. When Sophia, a respected journalist, saw our records, she published an article. The real story behind the scholarship model. She didn't write it as a scandal, but as a timeline, with my dated notes side by side with Damien's speeches. The evidence was clear. Sponsors backed out of his nonprofit. Publishers froze contracts. Students he'd used as photo props started speaking up, telling their side. And me? I went back to class the next morning, like always. But this time, reporters waited outside. Not to hand me a trophy, but to ask questions that finally had the right name attached. Damien didn't disappear. Men like him rarely do. He posted apologies, tried to rebrand, claimed he'd been inspired. But it didn't matter anymore. The money he'd siphoned started flowing back to where it belonged. The kids. Last month, Rosa sent me a photo. She was in scrubs, holding her nursing certificate. The message read, "You didn't just save me, Mr. Reed. You saved everyone who came after." That was my trophy. See, Damien took my name and wore it like a mask. But you can't steal the work that follows. You can't fake the legacy left in real lives. Revenge isn't always a fire. Sometimes it's patience, receipts, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing the truth finally stood up. And that's enough.